Now, Lowcountry Forever, a public affairs presentation of the Charleston Radio Group.
Later on this month, an inaugural event is happening, and we're here to tell you about it today on Lowcountry Forever. I'm Brian Cleary, joined on Lowcountry Forever today by Jen and Josh McConnell. They are in the Isle of Palms, where they are realtors. Jen, your real estate company's official name is?
McConnell Real Estate Partners.
And your inaugural gala is coming up because you guys have formed a foundation, and it's a fairly new foundation. I want you to let people know what the foundation is about and how it is that you came about to form it.
We started the foundation in 2021 after our son was diagnosed with pediatric cancer when he was 5 months old and cured and treated at MUSC here in Charleston. And as a brokerage, we were always donating a portion of every transaction that closed to MUSC and to Dr. Krivecka's research, who is our son's oncologist. But we had a lot of clients and friends reach out wanting to also help to contribute. You can't really donate on behalf of a brokerage. So we thought we could do a lot more and impactful if we started our own foundation. And so that's what we did last year. And so this will be our very first event that we have for the foundation, which is a black tie gala. And 100% of the proceeds are going to Dr. Krivecka's research lab. And Dr. Krivecka has the only pediatric cancer research lab in Charleston.
Josh, talk a little bit about it, because if you don't know as much as maybe you and I do, the MUSC Shawn Jenkins Children's Hospital, Dr. Krivecka she's a rock star in terms of what she does. And for us to be able to have that kind of talent here in the Lowcountry is pretty amazing.
As we talk about our experience there and how blessed we were, as we say every time, like we really were open to moving to wherever our son would get the best treatment, whether that was, kind of initially off the top of your head, you think of major cities, New York, Los Angeles, you think of Memphis with St. Jude. And as we looked into it, really one of the top specialists was here in Charleston, and just a huge blessing not to have that burden on top of what you're about to go through anyway.
And you take a traumatic event that happened to your son, and I think in the heat of things, and they say, when this is over, I'm going to, and then invariably life gets in the way, something comes up, whatever. But you guys said, no, we've got to do something. And it's really an extra step for you actually to go out and form a foundation. Not everybody follows up on those kind of things. You guys did. What was it that really made you say, no, this is important?
I promised God, as he was going through his stuff, that we would do this if we got through it. And I think in being there, we feel, I think from people outside looking in say, that's traumatic and unfortunate, but we were surrounded by people that were having it really so much worse because we were getting the results that we wanted continually as he went through it, making it just baby steps, us getting through it, but it was positive. And so our experience was really relatively short and not as traumatic for a lot of people because of where research had already progressed to by the time our son had an experience with it. And so I think we're very aware of that and very aware of how blessed we were that it was just really a blip on the radar is how we describe it. Like our son doesn't know, when we do the things with MUSC and with the radio, he's always like, why are they saying my name? It's like, he literally doesn't know. And we have to explain, this is why you have that scar right there, because, that's where they put your medicine. And he really is not affected, and you wouldn't know. People that know us forget that he had it, honestly.
So anybody that knows, your family knows Bohdi, they couldn't look and go, oh yeah, he looks like, all they see is the hair, right?
Yeah. It's the opposite. His hair's down the middle of his back now.
This is Lowcountry Forever. I'm Brian Cleary, joined by Josh and Jen McConnell. They have the inaugural McConnell Foundation Black Tie Gala coming up on June 18th. So, Jen, the inspiration for having a gala, what made you say, let's have this kind of event?
I really wanted to have an impactful event instead of a smaller event. I really want to be intimate, but also be able to have a lot to offer to our guests who are attending, but also to have a greater impact on Dr. Krivecka's research. I just feel like we can do that here in Charleston. People love to get dressed up, right? So why not throw a gala? And people love to wear bow ties and their fancy dresses that you get. And so I just thought it It was perfect event, perfect venue for it that we found in Mount Pleasant. And the town is so generous. I mean, we've gotten some amazing donations from local companies, and it's honestly astonishing. Like, I had no idea the support that we would have, especially just given our first year. We're not even a year yet as the foundation, and our first literal event of our foundation. So it's been very humbling, and I'm super excited.
Well, let's pick up on that if you don't mind, Jen. So talk about some of the sponsors that you have and some of the people that have stepped up to help and be a part of the event.
Oh gosh, we have every category imaginable. So the Fifth Street Group, they donated a staycation here in Charleston. So there's a night stay at the Grand Bohemian, dinner for two at Church and Union, and then breakfast the next day over at Tempest. We have plantation packages. We have an awesome package from Callie's Hot Little Biscuit. It's a huge package. I know. It's going to be amazing. Candlefish classes, $2,500 marketing campaign from your radio group, Charleston Radio Group, which was so generous. Coastal Expeditions donated an adventure over to Bulls Island. Rob and Erica Lamble, they are managers for a lot of the musicians in town. They are doing 2 VIP tickets to the show at Firefly. Fitness classes, carriage rides, restaurants, Park and Union, Tavern and Table, tickets to the Stephen Colbert Show, Wheezy Towels, golf at Wild Dunes, Hotel Bennett dinner. I mean, we literally have amazing tickets from Thomas Rhett that you got us, and an autographed guitar from him as well. We have art from some of the most known local artists and some amazing pieces donated. Kendra Scott necklace, taxidermy shopping bag, tiny tassel earrings. I mean, it just goes on and on. Like, anything you would want from Charleston, we have. It's amazing.
We've got people intrigued now with all those events. So somebody step up here and tell me the details on the event itself. We know it's coming up on June 18th, and then how people can get tickets to be a part of it.
I will say first, our sponsors are the only reason we're able to do this. And of course, through these amazing donations. Our presenting sponsor is Axon Homes. We have gold sponsorships from First Home Mortgage, Bill Payne, MGC Law, Tito's Handmade Cocktails. And some of our silver sponsors are The Look, Vivid Sign and Design, and friends of the McConnell Foundation are Belk Lucy, Mappus Insurance, which is David Watson, and AV Connections.
Some great people, some great businesses doing what they can to help out. Now on to the details of the event.
So the event is Saturday, June 18th, 6 to 10:30 p.m. We have Seth G, who will be playing on the violin. Do you know him, Brian?
I do not, but I'm intrigued.
Oh, it's so exciting. I'm so excited. It's awesome. So he's on the violin. We have Chris Dodson inside, and then I have DJ Luke V, who will be inside for the dance party after the auction's done. We have food from Church and Union, open bar, top shelf liquor and alcohol, and of course, Brian Cleary as our MC. Oh. So what else do you need?
You know, you're building up, and then you went down. It's
it's the dream team.
So people listening, they've got to be intrigued now. They want to get tickets. So how can they do that?
They can go to themcconnellfoundation.com. McConnell is McConnell, or they can go to event.gives/McConnell, and you can click through tickets either way.
And we'll get a link set up to those events on the Charleston Radio Group station's website, the station that you're listening to now. I'm Brian Cleary. Today on Lowcountry Forever, we're talking about the inaugural McConnell Foundation Black Tie Gala coming up on June 18th. Jen and Josh McConnell have joined us. Now, Josh, when somebody says research, I think a lot of times folks' eyes glaze over and kind of go, oh, research. But you're specifically raising money for the research. Share why it is that you guys decided, no, we want this money specifically to go to research.
Our experience, at MUSC was really relatively short and extremely successful. Everybody's touched by cancer in some way. And we certainly had been even before this. And for us, we never heard anyone use the term cured until our son had it. And they actually used that term. And that's only from tens of millions of dollars and man hours going into research that was done a decade before our son had an experience with it. So the fact that he had such a successful outcome really led us to say, let's put the money towards the research and pushing the research forward. So when there's more successful outcomes, so that the medicine, being used becomes, less toxic or less harmful, with less long-term effects from it. And I think he was on it so short that we don't see any effects from it, but certainly just move it forward so that more people can have our story, basically, that run into this, because we're some of the lucky ones.
And I have to take you off subject for just a second, but I can't have real estate people on with me without asking a real estate question in that. The market's so hot right now. some people, that frightens people. Other people go, hey, I can put my house up for sale, and in 12 minutes, I'm going to have 47 offers, all above asking price. And that's the way it always works, right? Isn't that how it happens? Toss along a little advice for somebody who is either thinking about selling or perhaps thinking about buying.
Charleston was in demand before remote working became common, right? So now it's just gone to a new level. So inventory is in short supply. What we're telling our people is, one, like, it's never been easier to sell. And if you're coming on the buy side, it's like, enjoy the sell side and be ready for the buy side, right? And be careful, because drastic markets, some drastic measures are taken to try to get houses. So we think you should have professional representation and that be protected through the transaction. So that's kind of our spiel, because you'll sell it in 10 minutes, but there's a lot to it that you need to go through and protect yourself. So it's huge for sellers. And I don't see Charleston's not getting less popular in these smaller southern markets where the climate's great. We had, I think the first month after the pandemic, somebody came off and we were at a golf course, looking on a golf course, and he's like, I'm buying a house today. He's like, I just came from people wearing hazmat suits and we've been locked in our apartments for 2 weeks, and you're casually down here in 80 degrees playing golf.
Yeah, that doesn't suck at all. So if somebody wants to get a hold of you in terms of getting some real estate advice or just talking with you in that way, can you give us a number, some way they can contact you?
Yeah, so the number's 843-300-7585. And our website is chsestates.com. And also on social media, we're at Charleston Estates.
So we've got June 18th coming up, Jen. Where will the gala be? Give everybody the who, what, when, where, and why. That'll make them want to come out and have a great time.
So the event is being held at Harborside East in Mount Pleasant, which is right at the foot of the Ravenel Bridge. So beautiful views of the Ravenel and the harbor off the back patio. And start time is 6 p.m. We have live music indoors and out. Brian Cleary, our amazing MC, and lots of fun and games. We have games coming. We have amazing auction items and some great opportunities to help out Dr. Krivecka in her research.
And if somebody, and I hope they will, everyone will want to get tickets. I know you have individual tickets. You can purchase a table. Where can people go to get that ticket information?
They can go to event.gives/McConnell, McConnell, or just the McConnellFoundation.com, either one. And
the point of this, we want to raise as much money as possible, help Dr. Krivecka, because with your son Bohdi, you had such a positive outcome, and I know that's what you're hoping for any and all families that are helped through the MUSC Shawn Jenkins Children's Hospital.
Absolutely. And we're honored that we are having some of the families participate, and they'll be there on the 18th, which will be great. They've been through the treatment. They also have survivor children. We're just happy to be able to host them.
And the McConnells will be happy to host you as well. It's the inaugural McConnell Foundation Black Tie Gala coming up on June 18th. We've got all the information for you on all of our Charleston Radio Group websites. Get your tickets early and be a part of this great June 18th event. Jen and Josh McConnell of the McConnell Foundation, our guests today on Lowcountry Forever.
412 first responders were lost in the Twin Towers on September 11th. Honor those we lost and support local first responders and their families as part of the second annual Charleston Memorial Stair Climb, Saturday, June 18th at the North Charleston Coliseum. At 8:46 a.m., the time the first tower was hit, participants will begin their climb of 110 flights of stairs, the number of flights of stairs in the Twin Towers. All monies raised will be donated to families of first responders and organizations that support them. Learn more at charlestonstairclimb.com. It's time for Lovello. Come out for a big block party at Isle of Palms November 5th, and you can choose how you want to participate in one of 4 scenic cycling routes, stationary classes, virtually, or as a volunteer. Regardless, you won't want to miss the party and the entertainment. Best of all, we'll be celebrating our cancer survivors and the researchers trying to end cancer. This annual event raises money for the innovative and life-saving cancer research at MUSC Hollings Cancer Center. Visit lowvello.org to register and help us cure cancer together.
The Charleston Radio Group is the Lowcountry. Every week, we highlight local organizations and events that are helping to make a difference here where we live. If you have a group, event, or an idea to feature on Lowcountry Forever, let us know. Visit lowcountryforever.com and click on our podcast link for contact information. Now, Lowcountry Forever continues.
Next weekend, going to be a huge weekend at the Joe. There's always good reason to be at RiverDogs baseball, but this is a little something special. Maybe you've noticed at a visit to the ballpark, there's been this jersey, number 19, out on the wall. And if you've ever wondered why that is, we've got the man who can answer that question. Ben Abzug is the assistant general manager of your Charleston RiverDogs and joins us on Lowcountry Forever. What is it about that jersey that's out on the wall there in the Joe?
Thanks, Brian. Yeah, it's something important that is a part of the fabric of baseball here in Charleston. Larry Doby is a Camden, South Carolina native, actually. Everybody knows Jackie Robinson, who was the first Black Major League Baseball player. The very next year, Larry Doby was the first Black player in the American League. So Jackie Robinson in the National League with the Dodgers, Larry Doby with the Cleveland Indians as the first Black player to break the color barrier in the American League. And not only that, the owner of the Cleveland Indians at that time was Bill Veeck, father of Mike Veeck, longtime RiverDogs president, who's still super active with us. And so when the ballpark was built here in the late 90s, Mike wanted to honor Larry Doby. And so we do that in a number of ways. But when Larry was alive, he died a few years later, he'd come out every year for one weekend and we'd celebrate him and the impact of African Americans on the game of baseball in a lot of different ways, celebrating the Negro Leagues and the Cannon Street All-Stars, who we'll talk about. Mr. Doby has since passed. His son comes out occasionally, but we think it's really important to keep his presence alive here in the ballpark. So one of the areas in the ballpark is actually permanently named Doby's Deck. And then we have this one weekend every year called Larry Doby Weekend, which is all about appreciation and remembering of the impact of African Americans, both on the game of baseball and then obviously here in our community in Charleston and how those two things tied together. So it's one of our marquee events every year that we look forward to that is a super important part of what we do at the Joe.
So it'll be coming up this weekend. That'll be at the tail end of what'll start a 6-game homestand. Salem Red Sox coming to town. Let's veer off a little bit because RiverDogs come off a championship season and now playing some pretty darn good ball as of late.
Yeah, the team's very good. The unfortunate part for us is that I believe of all 122 minor league baseball teams at various levels, we have 2 of the 5 best records in all of minor league baseball in the same division here. So we, the RiverDogs, are playing very well, but we're a couple games behind the team from Myrtle Beach, who is, I think, statistically the best team in all of minor league baseball right now. So we are hoping in the last couple weeks here of the first half of the season, because then the standings reset, we're hoping in these last couple of weeks we will catch them, and the winner of the first half in our division will clinch a playoff spot at the end of the year already. We're hopeful that the team will do that. It's been a fun group to watch. This team a little bit different than last year's team. We lead all of minor league baseball in stolen bases, really strong starting pitching. We've already had a few move up to higher levels. And then some really good hitting prospects too. We've got an 18-year-old shortstop named Carlson Williams, who was the #1 pick to the Rays last year. And so it's been a really fun group to watch. And what I love about the Rays, and as you know, Brian, this is our second year with the Rays after being with the Yankees for a long time. And we had a great relationship with the Yankees, had some good teams, a lot of good prospects. But what I love about the Rays is there seems to be a little bit more focus on winning at the minor league level as part of the development process for these players to really learn sort of the winning way and how to win as a group, and then hopefully take that up as they move up the chain. So, I mean, you see a lot more, guys hit a home run, they're pounding their chest, they're cheering on the crowd, they're interacting with the crowd more. So I think fans notice that when we come out to the ballpark, is just sort of that excitement and enthusiasm that just seems like maybe one notch higher with the Rays, which we love.
You always have fun time at the Joe when you go to RiverDogs game, the food, the drink, the atmosphere. But a win does, it's the cherry on top of everything. It's always nice.
You get an exciting game where, we're scoring a lot of runs, or close game at the end and we end up winning. I mean, there's nothing like that. And sure, the majority of people aren't there because they're diehard RiverDogs fans, and they'll be so upset if they lose, right? Most people are there to drink a beer and watch the fireworks and see their friend throw out a first pitch, whatever the case may be. But you're right, it certainly adds something when you have a winning team. And we definitely saw that at the end of last year. The community seemed to really love and respond to the team playing great baseball and ultimately winning a championship. And certainly we're seeing that this year too.
We're talking RiverDogs baseball today on Lowcountry Forever. I'm Brian Cleary, joined by the Assistant General Manager of your Charleston RiverDogs, Ben Abzug, is with us. Now, Ben, let's focus on the weekend because this is important stuff. But as always, there'll be fun stuff, serious stuff. It's just going to be a celebration at the Joe. Go into some of the details on Larry Doby Weekend.
Sure, yeah. We hit all the emotion. We're home all week, starting Tuesday, going through Sunday. Saturday and Sunday is our Doby Weekend presented with our partners at MUSC Health, and 2 distinct days with some cool activities that you don't see all the time. Saturday, the team will be wearing a throwback Negro League jerseys. So we play as the Newark Eagles, which I believe is the team that Larry Doby played for in the Negro Leagues before he made it to the Indians.
Okay. And
the other team wears the Grays. 2 different teams that we celebrate the Negro League past. Also on Saturday, we're joining forces with Chris Singleton on our staff, is bringing Black community leaders from around the community to do a softball game on the field right before the game. So that'll be fun to see. And again, celebrating sort of Blacks and their impact on baseball, and in this case, playing a softball game. And we also use this weekend as a way to try to connect with young kids who don't typically get involved with baseball at an early age. So there'll be a clinic, pitch, hit, and run event on the field during the morning on Saturday too. So that's something that you can find more information about on RiverDogs.com if you're interested in having your kids participate. We top it off with a stadium light show. We have the new colored LED lights.
Awesome.
It's kind of a cool way to end the night. If you're like me and you have young kids who like the idea of fireworks but cry at the first sound of them, the light show is sort of a fun fireworks light.
Any truth to the rumor now that Chris really just wants the softball game because he misses playing? He's kind of retired, so he puts together something that he can participate in.
It's funny you say that because, yes, Chris could beat all of us to a pulp in a softball game. And, he's gotten all these contacts of his and leaders in the community to come out and play this game. They'll have a whole nother thing coming to them if they get out on the field and then Chris starts whacking line drives at him. So we'll see if he jumps in or not. But, it's great to have Chris involved. Great sort of representative for our community and for the RiverDogs. And so happy to have him leading the charge on that. And so that's Saturday. Sundays, as you know, Brian, are our family Sundays with MUSC always. So it's an earlier game, 5:05. Great to bring your kids out to. Kids run the bases after the game as always. Again, as part of Doby Heritage Weekend, we'll be honoring the 1955 Cannon Street All-Stars and having some of those guys at the game as we sort of remember their story as a reflection on the past, and again, celebrating Blacks in baseball. And I know you know their story, Brian, but in 1955, a group of Little Leaguers, so these would be 12-year-olds who played out of the Cannon Street YMCA here in downtown Charleston, were entered into the postseason Little League tournament. And at the local level here in Charleston, at the state level, and at the regional level, no white teams would play against them. And so by default, this team made it all the way to the Little League World Series in Williamsport, PA. And they traveled up there by bus. They tell a crazy story about their bus ride going up there. And then they got to Williamsport and they weren't allowed to play there either. And so these kids were sitting in the stands watching the all white teams from around the country play. And that story, I think, sort of hits home for a lot of people of how far we come, certainly how far we still have to go. But in terms of equality, even within sports, where we think of sort of being oftentimes a more level playing field than society as a whole. And so we have had this group of guys come out on Doby Weekend for years and years and years. And I think it's a really inspiring story. They've got a new book that they're promoting that raises money for causes centered around Blacks getting involved in sports early on as kids. And so that's always a really fun thing. And then this is the first year that the team will be wearing actually the same looking uniforms that the 1955 Cannon Street All-Stars. And then we're going to be auctioning those jerseys off after the game, which will be a really unique piece of memorabilia.
We're talking about Larry Doby Weekend. It's happening at the Joe with your Charleston RiverDogs next weekend. I'm Brian Cleary on Lowcountry Forever, joined by Ben Abzug, who is the Assistant General Manager of your Charleston RiverDogs. And Ben, this is kind of an expansion because all of Major League Baseball has really recognized a shortcoming in their reaching out to the African-American community, and this is a way of the RiverDogs participating.
Right. It is part of a national program. We've been doing Larry Doby Weekend for years and years locally, so I think in many ways we've identified this as a need and something that we need to focus on for a long time, and we can certainly always do better, and so we're happy to have the support and have this Major League program. There's actually two pieces of it. I mentioned our clinic here on Saturday morning. That's part of Play Ball Weekend, which is a national program all around major and minor league baseball, and the idea, again, is just we want baseball to continue to grow, to continue to be America's pastime. And for that, we want more and more kids to feel the game is accessible and fun and affordable. And so we're trying to do things on a national level and here on a local level that encourage young kids of all backgrounds to get involved with baseball at an early age. And then the second piece is for the first time this year, minor league baseball, the national entity that governs all 120 minor league baseball teams, has a program called The Nine. And The Nine represents Jackie Robinson's number as a minor leaguer. So he was 42, of course, when he made it to the Dodgers, but as a minor leaguer, he played as number 9. And so the 9 is sort of a program on the national level that our Larry Doby Weekend falls underneath that, again, just promotes the celebration of blacks in baseball historically and making sure that minor league ballparks around the country are inclusive places that everyone feels welcome to come. And we really take that to heart because we believe from the time Joe Riley built the ballpark here, this is supposed to be a place that our community can gather,
right,
and everybody in our community can gather. And so we want the ballpark, when you look around and you're here on a Friday night or on Doby Weekend or with your dog on Tuesday, that you look around and it's a cross section of our community. You see people of different backgrounds, different races, different genders. We love when we've got a crowd that's as many women as men, right, coming to a baseball game, and we see that often, right? And so we want to be continuing to do things, and obviously with the support of Major League and minor league baseball, we're doing things to try to make the Joe as inclusive and positive a place for the community as we can.
Just another instance where the Charleston RiverDogs ahead of the curve, because you guys have had this weekend going on. So let's veer off just a little bit because Salem's in town for 6 games. So let's run through the entire week. It starts with dogs at the ballpark on Tuesday.
We've been getting a crazy amount of dogs to the ballpark. So if you're not coming, you're missing out. But you can bring your dog for free every Tuesday as part of Dog Day Tuesdays presented by our partners at Twisted Tea. $2 beers and $2 hot dogs too. So make it through Monday during your work week, and Tuesday's a good time to get out of the house and bring your dog with you. Wednesday, we always do a wicked ticket deal to try to make Wednesdays a day when everybody can come out with our partners from Wicked Weed. We're doing a half off ticket offer. You can go to riverdogs.com and find that special code that you'll need to plug in there. And then we say the weekend kicks off on Thursdays with Thirsty Thursday with Budweiser dollar beers. We just introduced $4 well drinks during a happy hour on Thursday. Seems like the world beer is always going to be beer, but there's so many other drink options out there now. We serve the seltzers and the canned cocktails, and there's this new product, Beatbox, that we love. And so Thursday is a night for indulging at the ballpark, and we've got DJ Dollar Menu here. That's always a fun night. And then we roll into the true weekend. Friday fireworks with our partners from Rep Federal Credit Union, which is also our Boeing Red Shirt Friday, which is a weekly thing we do to just celebrate the military presence here in Charleston. So love to do that.
And you do have some other events coming up next month that people may or may not be aware of. Ben, fill us in on those.
We do have a big RiverDogs Independence Day game on July 4th at the ballpark, which is always a sellout and a huge crowd. So encourage people to get tickets now because they will sell out. Prior to that, on Saturday the 2nd, the city is going to be hosting, they did a similar event last year. It's partnered with CSO, Charleston Symphony Orchestra. And so on Saturday, July 2nd, there'll be a symphony orchestra concert on the field playing patriotic music, and then fireworks. And that's actually a free event. You do have to get a ticket, but you can claim your ticket for free online at riverdogs.com. That's for the July 2nd show. So we've got July 2nd and then July 4th. And then one event that you've always been a great partner on, Brian, that we're excited about, and one of the reasons is that it's a big fundraiser for us for the MUSC Shawn Jenkins Children's Hospital, is our Legends in the South game. And that's on Wednesday, July 13th this year. If you haven't been, that's a one-of-a-kind event that we've done now for about 4 or 5 years, where we bring back former major league players, generally a lot of Braves, a lot of Yankees, now a lot of Rays, who's our major league affiliate now. And those guys play a fun softball game on the field. They sign autographs for everybody. They're awesome guys. And this year we're tacking on a golf tournament on Tuesday out at Bulls Bay where you can play with the players. So more to come on that. But as the RiverDogs schedule lightens up a little bit, we had a really busy May. A lot of other events going on at the ballpark too that we're thrilled to be hosting.
And so far so good for the 2022 season.
We're just about halfway through our RiverDogs home season. It's been a good first half.
So we're going to jump into the Larry Doby Weekend. We're on Saturday and Sunday. Saturday, of course, 6:05. Sunday, 5:05. I think it's going to be 2 days of good crowds at the Joe, so we want to make certain people get their tickets as soon as possible. What's the best way for them to do that?
On riverdogs.com now. It's a really easy process to reserve your tickets for any of those 6 games. We'll be a little tight on tickets over the weekend, but should have tickets available for just about all those games.
Never a bad seat at the Joe.
That's right.
So grab your tickets today, riverdogs.com, for Larry Doby Weekend next Saturday and Sunday at the Joe. He is Ben Abzug. He is the Assistant General Manager of your Charleston RiverDogs and our guest today on Lowcountry Forever.
412 first responders were lost in the Twin Towers on September 11th. Honor those we lost and support local first responders and their families as part of the second annual Charleston Memorial Stair Climb, Saturday, June 18th at the North Charleston Coliseum. At 8:46 a.m., the time the first tower was hit, participants will begin their climb of 110 flights of stairs, the number of flights of stairs in the Twin Towers. All monies raised will be donated to families of first responders and organizations that support them. Learn more at charlestonstairclimb.com. It's time for Lovello. Come out for a big block party at Isle of Palms November 5th, and you can choose how you want to participate in one of 4 scenic cycling routes, stationary classes, virtually, or as a volunteer. Regardless, you won't want to miss the party and the entertainment. Best of all, we'll be celebrating our cancer survivors and the researchers trying to end cancer. This annual event raises money for the innovative and life-saving cancer research at MUSC Hollings Cancer Center. Visit lowvello.org to register and help us cure cancer together.
Thanks for listening to Lowcountry Forever. If you missed any of this week's show, there's a complete recording under the podcast link at lowcountryforever.com. Lowcountry Forever is a public affairs presentation of the Charleston Radio Group.